All right, so now we need to deal with this header area. And remember, you can have multiple headers within your document. You just cannot have more than one header in any single element. Okay, so there's some header elements up here. There was the initial header element in the article, which we hid, and then we created our own section and added a header inside. Okay, so now let's go ahead and find, let's target this area and this area here. So let's go ahead and inspect. Let's get our selection tool, and I'm going to just hover over this area here. Now I see this in this light green, but I see that sort of a tannish orange color. So I want to come over here. Now the whole top area is blue. And you'll see that we're dealing with header, and then directly inside the opening header is the ID site header, and then there is also a class called header footer group. So we're going to use this compound selector to target our header area. Now let's hover over this area here, and we see that we are now dealing with footer, site footer, header footer group. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and cancel out of this. And we will go back to our CSS. And again, I've already written the CSS for us to save a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is right above the body. Now this right here really should be moved to the top of our CSS, okay? But I'm going to leave it where it is for right now. We can clean all of this up later. All right, so I'm going to paste in header, site header, header footer group, okay? Now remember, this class, this ID are directly in this header element. That's why it's all one continuous line. And I'm going to go ahead and set the background color to light blue, which is basically the same in the mobile view as the rest of the page. So you see we now have blue up across the top, which means if you wanted to add an image, then obviously you could add an image in the background or whatever color you want, okay? All right, let's now deal with our footer. So again, following, I'll put it right here. And we now have footer, site footer, header footer. Again, I'll set this to light blue, okay? All right, so just so you know, we probably wouldn't be changing the background color in these media breakpoints. I'm just doing that because using a background color is the easiest way to demonstrate. So at one point, we would probably, or you would probably just set your header, your footer, and your body all to the same background color, okay? All right, now if you wanted to use images, you would have to introduce images, obviously, within various section elements in each of your pages, okay? But again, that's up to you. All right, let's go ahead and publish. And I should mention, I've already done it here, but you'll notice on the footer, I have border none. This one took a little bit to capture. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and you see that this border shows up, and this one was a little bit more difficult to track down. So again, we would inspect, we'd get our select, and I would start figuring out where this element was. So we know it's in here somewhere, okay? And I could go through, and I believe it's in the footer here. And if you start opening all of this up, okay, and you just keep opening these up and selecting the different divs, okay, so you see we're selecting this one, So we need to go up a little bit, we need to go up a little bit. All right, so now it's a matter of once you have the element selected here, then we have to start looking in the style. So to save us a little bit of time, I went ahead and selected the footer, okay? And then I scrolled through all the different styles associated with the footer, and I found the header footer group. And this is where I found that the border color for all, because they probably called it out as just border, is this gray, which is exactly what's showing up here. So because this is inside of our footer, site footer header group, it was easiest for me just to target the compound selector we already had, and I'll go ahead and paste back in the border none, and we get rid of that border that was part of the original theme. Now, do you have to? No, but you can. Now, the same with if you don't want the copyright, okay, if you don't want that part, then let's go ahead and target this as P footer copyright, okay? And let's just do this before the body. Matter of fact, let me turn this off so don't we keep selecting things. And let's just see what happens if this in fact will target. So we should have P dot footer copyright. Copyright. Sometimes it's hard to talk and look at the screen and type because I still have to look at my fingers. Okay, so we have P footer copyright. Let's add our curly braces, and what we'll do is, just to save a little time, let's grab height, visibility, and display. We'll copy these and come down here and see if we got it right. And we did. So now we're going to go ahead and publish. And we should be at the point where we can go in, create as many pages as we want. Those pages will all be able to go inside of our menu when we go and we modify our menu. And so they would all be linked together. So at this point, you could pretty much create whatever you want for your layout. And again, one of the really cool things is you have all of the widgets, you have all the plugins which you can add to a WordPress site, and then they're available to you. And I mean, that's just, like a win-win. All right, so we pretty much, I believe, have covered all the steps for you to take over a WordPress theme. Now, is this the best way to do it? No, probably not. But it's a really, really good learning process, and it really helps you learn to use the inspector, how to target elements, and then how to modify a theme. Maybe you don't want to completely take over a theme. All you want to do is make some minor modifications. Well, now you know how. But also, you know that you can completely take over a theme. Now, what we would really do is we would create a child theme, and that child theme would become our theme. But you would have to have access to the server, and you would have to get into the original PHP files, and that's another level of learning. And that is something that we will likely cover in an upcoming exercise.